This video is about the order of operations. In this video, I'll briefly cover the order of operations, and then I'll also talk about the distributive property. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division are called mathematical operations. When you're handling expressions involving real numbers, it is important to remember the correct order of operations. For example, how do we simplify 2 times 5 plus 3? Do we multiply first and then add, or add first and then multiply? In mathematics, conventional notation implies multiplication first and then addition. So we're going to multiply 2 times 5 and get 10, and then we're going to add. So 10 plus 3 is 13. Also, parentheses imply grouping and should always be performed first. So say we take this expression that we had over here, but this time add a parentheses, and we add a parentheses around the 5 plus 3. Just doing that changes the whole game, because we're supposed to do parentheses first. So instead of doing 2 times 5 first and getting 10, we're going to add 5 plus 3 first, which is 8, and then we're going to multiply, and we get 16. So I'm sure you've heard of and use PEMDAS, and this is something you will continue to use moving forward. Remember, it stands for parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction, and that's just the order in which you should do your mathematical operations. Let's simplify this problem. Pause the video, simplify this problem using the order of operation, and press play when you have your answer. So you should get 3. This approach works really well on real numbers when you can perform the operations between the parentheses. But in algebra, real numbers are often represented by variables. So, for example, how do we simplify the expression 3 times 2x minus 5y? We can't subtract 5y from 2x because they're not like terms. And that is why we rely on basic properties of real numbers in algebra. So like the commutative property of addition and multiplication, the associative property of addition and multiplication, the distributive property, the additive and multiplicative identities, and the additive and multiplicative inverse properties. So I specifically want to focus on the distributive property, which is that x times, parentheses, y plus z equals xy plus xz. The first term must be multiplied or distributed to both terms within the parentheses. That's just what the distributive property tells us to do. Basically, don't leave anybody out of the party. This is something that I know you've worked on and used time and time again, but I see students not distribute to all terms within a parentheses, and therefore they get the answer wrong in the end. So it may seem like, yeah, Mrs. Wesson, come on, let's pick up the pace, but I really want you to work hard to slow down and be careful with your work so that you don't make these silly mistakes in this class, which end up bogging down your understanding of more difficult concepts that we're going to approach. So, with that in mind, I'm going to give you a little problem that combines some properties of real numbers and rules of algebra and stuff, and specifically distributive property and combining like terms. So here's the problem. I want you to pause the video, work on this on your own, and once you've done that, press play and check your answer. Okay. In the end, you should get 9x minus 7y, and we can't combine those because they're not like terms. And that is it for this video. Have a great one, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.